happening, fight fans? It's an all-new year, which means all new matchups to get you hyped up for the UFC. Tune into the fights this weekend, and don't forget, get in on all the action with my partners at DraftKings Sportsbook. They're offering all new customers $200 in bonus bets instantly after betting just $5. So don't wait. Download the DraftKings app right now. Sign up using the code SONNEN. DraftKings, the crown is yours. Staying on the action and use your $200 in bonus bets for DraftKings same-game parlays for a shot at an even bigger payout. Combine multiple bets together from the same game. Love the thrill of live betting? DraftKings has got you covered with live markets, like Fight to Go the Distance, which makes watching the action that much more exciting. If sports betting is not yet available in your state, don't worry. You can still join in on all the fun with DraftKings Daily Fantasy with a shot at even bigger prizes. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Use my promo code SONNEN. Get $200 in bonus bets for any $5 wager. That's promo code SONNEN, only at DraftKings Sportsbook. My official prediction for Umar versus Merab is going to be whoever wins the first round. Is that sitting on a fence or what? Guys, I don't sit on fences. And when we get to the end of this, I will give you my prediction. But what I really want to do is just make sure that you acknowledge how close this is. And by the way, Merab is going to beat him unless Merab fails to get on top of him. If Merab does get on top of him repeatedly, that will lend to and speak about the cardio of Merab. The hardest thing you can do from an output standpoint in MMA is take somebody down. It is the hardest thing you're going to do. In fact, it's so hard that when you get them there, you've got to have a moment to breathe. You got to get to that wrist. You got to cover his hips. You got to be able to hold him there at least for a couple of beats to get that energy back, right? Just like a video game where that power source goes up. If you take a guy down and the motion never ends, he posts the head, he starts slipping away, he turns right into a scramble to where you're up. Even if you're the audience and you see there was a takedown, you will not get any credit for it. Not only not with the judges, but the person that went to that effort to get him down has now signified to us he didn't want to stand. Whatever he was feeling standing, he thought it was a good idea to change the realm of the fight. So now he's back to the spot that, at least in theory, he didn't want to be, but now he's tired. And it does not matter how good of a wrestler is. You stop 5 of his shots, he will not shoot another time that whole fight. You scramble up from the bottom after being taken down 3 times, and you're no longer fighting a wrestler. And you won't find me an example around that. If a wrestler gets shut down 5 times in a night, bank closes at 5. He will not go for shot number 6. If he succeeds in getting you down and 3 times you succeed scrambling and getting back to your feet, that wrestler will quit going for takedowns. So when I tell you it's whoever wins the very first round, it's going to be who wins the first round. It's not as though Merab is going to get top position and stay there enough time to win the first round and then not be able to do it again. Of course he will. The only difference going into the second round is he now needs to win 2 rounds instead of winning 3. The pressure just got easier. And the same thing goes with Nurmagomedov. And I think it would be a surprise if Umar came out to get the takedown. I'd be very curious if he can. As great as Umar is, his greatness has only really been on display against Sandhagen. Because that's where he dealt with some adversity. Sandhagen fought back. Sandhagen was wiry. Umar found himself in a fight that was harder than he and his team expected that fight to be, but he kept it all together. And he played safe, and he showed that he was well-rounded. He showed his fight IQ and that he was tactical. And Merab is going to come like a bat out of hell, and he's going to come at him, and he's going to pressure him. And there's 2 ways to stop a guy from striking you. There's only one way that's ever talked about, which is take him down. Get a hold of him and take him down. That's what everybody talks about. But there is a second way, which is crowd him. You don't have to be on top to be wrestling. That is a misconception in MMA. And I will just tell you, as a Team Quest fighter, we really brought this concept to the sport we could grab a hold of a guy, and it was a big difference that we could do at Team Quest because we were Greco-Roman wrestlers as opposed to freestyle wrestlers. We could grab a guy right by his neck. They now call it dirty boxing. But in Greco, that's called a collar tie. So we can be right on our feet, get in with the guy, grab him around his neck, and off-balance him and move him to the point that none of his strikes are going to work. So Merab's really got two options. And it's a very false narrative to say Merab has to take him down in order to stop the superior striking of Nurmagomedov. That's just not accurate. That's just not true. Merab can take him down, and that essentially will stop the striking. But it didn't have to. Merab can also crowd him. That shuts down all the striking. Now you're purely in who's a better wrestler. Merab looks to me like he's a little stronger. He also looks to me like he's a little bit bigger. And that's a situation of maybe I got some lion eyes. But that's what it looks like to me. And if Merab's energy can hold up, very tiring to take somebody down, very tiring to crowd somebody, but Merab beat O'Malley on his pace. Merab beat Henry Cejudo on his pace. Merab beat Jose Aldo on pace. He beat them all the same way, and it wasn't just getting on top of them. He does a very good job of putting a lot of options and throwing a lot of balls at the board. Nurmagomedov is also known for his pace. That's what makes this so hard to give a prediction. But the rounds and fights it's not going to switch. You have a very hard fight on your hands. But when this is all said and done, it's not going to be a close fight. Whoever wins the first round will also win the second, third, and the fourth round. And if I had to tell you who that's going to be, I'm going with the bigger, stronger athlete. Merab, and still.